don't watch TV news. So most of the time when I'm talking to people about how to be a happy human being, I don't really make very hard recommendations about things that they should do. Because it's been my experience that people don't generally need to change what they're doing in their lives. They need to change how they experience the things that they do in their lives. So that's all in here. It doesn't have as much to do with the external conditions. But one big exception to that, for me, is don't watch TV news. And I think that there are some good reasons for that, because what we need to understand about the modern world is that if you are not paying for something, you are not the customer, you're the product. And I think that that makes it a lot easier to understand what's going on with a lot of services that are offered by different organizations. And TV news is definitely an example of that, where the customer is an advertiser and the product is viewers who will hopefully convert to consumers of the advertiser's goods. And in order to achieve that, these organizations that are producing television news take advantage of certain attributes of how our brains are set up. As an organ, the brain has sort of evolved by accretion, right? Just this build-up of faculties over time, but there's no period where there's a redesign to get rid of all the cruft, right? So underneath our wonderful, glorious cognitive faculties, there's still the same old lizard brain that was serving our ancestors hundreds of millions of years ago. So if that can be accessed, then you can engage with people on a level where they're not able to bring all their critical faculties to bear, and you can get a message through that changes their behavior in a much more reliable way. And so how that's done in television news is they present you with so much information through so many different streams, sensory streams, that you can't actually process it and engage with it critically, and all of your nice advanced faculties just give up, and eventually it gets handed over to the lizard brain to sort out. So, you know, you watch the television news program and there's somebody reading information out, and then there's the news ticker on the bottom and graphics popping up and all of that. And the goal is to sort of stupefy the viewer so that when the ads come up, you're receptive to them. You're not engaging with the advertising critically, analyzing the message, wondering if this is actually something good for your life. And especially important to that is that the lizard brain deals in fear. So anything that scares you captivates you. It grabs your attention. It keeps you plugged in, your eyeballs glued to the screen, and then you're around for more ad impressions. And so the picture of the world that's presented in the 24-hour news cycle is a picture that is very scary, that's very intimidating. Everything that's going on is always going to be, you know, create some catastrophic outcome. And, you know, the world's a big place, so if your goal is to find scary things to present, you're going to find them, but it's completely out of proportion with the likelihood of any given scary event happening to a given human being. And they take advantage of our desire to be informed participants in our societies. We need to understand what's going on in the world if we are to participate in democratic processes that shape our society's response to the world. And that's a good drive, and we should be informed, but we have to do it in a way that allows us to bring all of our best faculties to bear on the problem of processing all this information. And what that generally, for me, means as a recommendation is print media. Maybe not on dead trees, maybe you go to the internet, but actually take in your information in a form where you can stop at any point and scroll up and go, wait a minute, what was the message of that sentence? What is the agenda here? And actually do a critical analysis of the information that you're taking and actually spend some time understanding what the source is, what are their credentials, what are the methods, and bring your highest faculties to bear rather than your lizard brain on actually understanding the world. And while you're at that, you know, you might look at media diet and building a stream of sources that have different viewpoints, maybe some of which challenge your perceptions of the world, so that you don't lock yourself in a filter bubble where you're only reading things that agree with your preconceptions about how the world works. When I was a young person, I did debate. We had to be really, really informed, and I read everything that The Economist, the Christian Science Monitor, the New York Times, and like Newsweek, and The Guardian and the BBC put out. In addition, I also like supplemented that with some sort of more fringe stuff. I used to read a lot of Reason.com, get the libertarian take on things. And that allowed me to build a picture of the world that was a little bit more nuanced, because a lot of my blind spots got challenged, and suddenly it's like, oh, whoa, I hadn't considered it from this perspective. That actually gives me a hook in to understand why other people are behaving in this way, and the world gets a lot less scary when it's populated by human beings who have motivations that you can understand. So, all of which is to say, stop watching TV news if you're doing that, build a balanced media diet, and make sure you're being able to bring your highest faculties into play so that you can build a picture of the world that supports you being a happy human being and supports your well-being. That's it.